like to begin this show by making a face that Josh Allen would be making now. Yeah, that's just about what Josh Allen is. He's lost. The Buffalo Bills are lost. Yeah, I mean, that is as good a lost face as it is when you look at something when you're shaving and you see on this part of your ear a hair sticking out. Just as proud. Yeah, and you're kind of like, are you lost? Because there's no need for tentacles or bumped into any walls, if you know what I mean. But that's about what the Bills have done. That was as inexplicable a loss as I've ever seen it. Boy, I mean, it's a repeat of the season opener. They gift-wrapped it to the Broncos, much like they gift-wrapped it to the Jets in the opening game of the season. And hey, I mean, when you can't take care of the ball, I mean, intercepted twice, fumbled twice, turn it over on downs. Of course, that doesn't count in the turnover statistics, but hey, you pretty much gift-wrapped it. And on that final drive, yeah, when Wilson threw up that prayer to Jerry Jeudy, and of course there was the contact, you kind of knew that that penalty was going to happen. But you know what? What is most damning was that penalty there on the missed field goal. I mean, Denver lines up, misses it, but we have too many men on the field. A pee-wee football team wouldn't do that. You know what? I kind of wonder if pretty soon a couple of heads are going to roll. Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about Dorsey for some more inexplicable play calling and why the hell they're stuck in neutral for a while before they get going, and also Smiley, the special teams coach. Not just that penalty, kicking it out of bounds there. And I mean, some of the punts and the horrible field position starts that Denver had. Boy, if Buffalo's defense hadn't been up to the challenge, Denver could have rolled. And I mean, heck, if we were on the ball, Buffalo could have rolled. But you know what? It's pretty much a lost cause for making the playoffs now. We're 2-5 against our conference, 1-2 with our division. And I mean, if you can't win the conference games, you got no business making the playoffs. And I mean, we're 5-5 right now with a pretty meaty schedule coming up. But you know what? We're 5-5. We got 7 games left. But it all pretty much feels like this season is lost for Buffalo. You know, I mean, there's going to be a lot of things doing in the offseason. And I mean, Josh Allen, he's got to do a lot of soul searching. Because, I mean, heck, he continues this play, he may be gone. But, I mean, heck, he signed that big new contract. And you know the Bills aren't going to eat a whole lot of that. But you wonder whose heads are going to roll. Dorsey's, Smiley's, maybe even McDermott's. Who knows? Yeah, he had the additional responsibility of calling the defense. He's done pretty well with what he's had, especially all the injuries. But I mean, the buck stops here. It's a what have you done for me lately thing in the NFL. You gotta wonder if maybe McDermott's head is gonna be on the chopping block if this continues. It's the Jets this Sunday in Orchard Park. And hopefully this time Buffalo can win and not piss the game away like they did against the Jets and did against the Broncos. This team is lost. But hopefully sooner or later they can be found. And I'm not throwing no amazing grace their way. Because right now, grace is what they need. Pardon me. And I'm going to go from talking about a lost team to a team that is temporarily found. Syracuse football took a page from John Heisman and Glenn Pop Warner, and the innovators of the game from 100 years ago and used it to perfection against Pitt in Yankee Stadium. Why not pound the ball and pound? And just when they think they've seen enough, pound them some more. Yeah, it kind of looks as though Schrader has a problem with his arm. Because, I mean, they didn't attempt too many passes. But, of course, they may have a revelation with the way they use Dan Villari, the former Michigan backup quarterback who transferred to SU and to also transferred to tight end. But, I mean, let's just say he kind of showed what he can do. Yeah, he showed some Jerome Bettis and Mike Alstott-like power when he took off on those runs. Well, maybe if he works on his mechanics back a little bit, maybe he can complete some passes. Because I hope the wide receivers don't start rebelling. But hey, it looks as though Schrader's got a real problem with his arm, and mostly for the rest of the season, this may be what happens. Can they use this same game plan against Georgia Tech and maybe get into a bowl game? Or against Wake Forest in the season finale, which will be on the CW at 2 o'clock. And hopefully there's not going to be any sophomoric sitcoms, if you know what I mean. But I mean, heck, way to take a page from a century ago and use it to perfection against Pitt, even if it was in Yankee Stadium, which counted as a home game. Heck, I kind of lament that I wasn't there, but you know, I kind of made do by being in Syracuse at Tully's and watching it with other SU fans. And you know, hopefully, I mean, because Georgia Tech has got one of the worst run defenses, maybe this can work. But of course, Georgia Tech is a little bit better in their passing game than Pitt is. And that defense has to do its job. But we're one win away from bowling. And you know what? If we go bowling, hopefully we can strike. But hopefully spare me the details. As you know what? I do any more about bowling, people might have to split. Who knows? Of course, other things that know how to split are gymnasts and dancers. But I digress. Way to go, Syracuse against Pitt. Let's keep it going against Georgia Tech and against Wake Forest to close the season. Now I'll go from there to SU basketball. A pretty good start there, and I mean, we've been experimenting quite a bit with defenses. Of course, against New Hampshire and against Canisius, we can do that. But now, I mean, the real stuff begins. Because heck, a team that we've dominated for almost half a century has won 2 consecutive games against us. It's Colgate tonight. And I mean, heck, Colgate we dominated, but now they're beating us. This'll be a test to see what Adrian Autry has done with this team, and hopefully we can have another in the win column when we head to Maui next week before Thanksgiving for the Maui Invitational, because that will be a big test for the Orange, especially with our opening game against Tennessee. I don't think I'd want to volunteer to take a guess how we're going to do against Tennessee, but it'll be a big litmus test. What's the pH? I don't know. Could it be blue? Could it be pink? Who knows? But I mean, the test really starts for Autry and the basketball team next week. But hopefully they can get past Colgate tonight. We need to brush our teeth, you know. No, I'm not going to spit. But who knows? I'd like to do that about the Bills. Last but not least, yeah, it's starting to be practice time for winter sports here in the Finger Lakes area. And of course, a lot of eyes are going to be on the Waterloo girls team. I mean, they lost a lot of the core of that team that won the state title and the federation title. And you know what? These girls have got a lot to live up to. But you know what? they can live up to what they can do. Even if they don't make it to the state finals this year, even if a sectional title can be what they aim for, you know what? I mean, there's going to be a lot of people that's going to throw shade on them because of last year's team. But I mean, it'll take these girls time to gel. And Mike Bree does a very, very good job of coaching these girls from a young age up until high school. Knowing him, he'll have these girls ready. The Waterloo boys team looks pretty good too, led by the younger brother of the leader of the girls team that won the state title. Dylan Caraballo is probably going to step in and be a big leader for this boys team. And also the minors teams, the minors boys, who will have Jack Brady and others on the team, and the minors girls, who's been a big carrier of the school for basketball lately. Let's see what they can do. It'll be an interesting winter season. And not only that, you got wrestling, you got bowling, you got indoor track. It's going to be an interesting winter season here in the Finger Lakes. And I mean, I'm going to close by saying, come on, Buffalo, stop being lost and get found. I'm Ken Haas, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.